Not all Overwatch heroes are equal. Some of them have more impact on the game than others. And in this video we're going to cover the top 3 heroes that you can play and master in order to solo carry your games the best you can. Now obviously Overwatch is a team game and we've just got to get this out the way. The best way to win at Overwatch is simply to coordinate with your team, land big juicy ultimate combos, communicate enemy flanks, and all the rest of it. Going one-man army is never really recommended, however in games where people are not communicating so well and you want to have the maximum impact on your own, then these heroes are pretty spicy. So, hero number 1, Roadhog. Roadhog is an amazing hero for solo queuers for one simple reason. He just doesn't much rely on his team. He has a solo heal, he can tank through a reasonable amount of damage, he can score solo kills on many heroes in the Overwatch roster, and his ultimate rarely relies on ability combos. Roadhog is definitely the most clear cut on this list. We will try to cover at least one tank, one support, and then, well, we'll see about DPS. But for the tanks, it doesn't really get much better than Hog. Roadhog is also a pretty safe pick in a multitude of situations. He's very adaptable. By this we mean with his chain hook he's able to pick off squishy heroes, but he also fares extremely well against tanky heroes due to his shotgun style weapon. His whole Hog ultimate can be popped completely on its own for pretty decent impact, but it can also be comboed very effectively with something like Graviton Surge. Using his chain hook, he can also exploit things like death pits by hooking people off of ledges, which is extremely powerful. And he also doesn't much give a damn what kind of composition the enemy team is running. Of course, he does have individual hero counters with things like Reaper screwing him over pretty badly. Also, Zarya barriers can shut down his hook targets. But against highly mobile and dive style teams, his hook comes into play big time. And against barrier-heavy comps, things with Orisa and Reinhardt for example, his shield damage is ungodly. Not just through his whole Hog, but obviously the right-click spam as well. Roadhog is just all-round an amazing hero for shutting down would-be enemy carries. He can look after himself with his self-heal, and he's all-round an amazing pick for these reasons in solo queue. Pick number 3, and maybe I'm just a little bit biased on this one, but I would honestly say Zenyatta. Zenyatta is an amazing pick for solo queue for a few reasons. If your positioning is good, you can kind of just camp out at the back. In solo queue, games are extremely chaotic. Things get a little bit more organized, of course, in things like the High Master and Grandmaster ranks, but for the most part, enemy teams are about as coordinated as your friendly teams, which isn't all that much. That means that your individual plays are going to shine quite a bit. And Zenyatta can make huge but subtle individual plays. For example, your teammates like Pharah and Tracer and Genji, the kind of heroes that want to dive in and make aggressive plays, are much less likely to get hard focused by the enemy team. Because again, this is solo queue after all. Things are chaos. That means you can get amazing value by just leaving your Harmony Orb on your Tracer, Genji, or Pharah. You essentially turn them into immortal killing machines unless multiple enemies focus them at the same time, which actually happens quite rarely. You can also be watching your team from a distance as Zen, and whatever target most of your teammates happen to be focusing, you can apply your Discord Orb to that target, and again, have a huge but very quiet impact on the ensuing teamfight. Zenyatta also stands out among supports as a potential solo carry hero simply because of his huge damage output. His right clicks can easily score one-shots on squishy enemies, he can provide excellent shield damage from range with his left clicks, and he can also handle himself in duels against enemy flankers. In this way, Zenyatta is kind of comparable to Ana in a lot of ways. However, a lot of people are kind of gated off from playing Ana. This is because of her notably higher skill floor than most other supports, which means, of course, the skill required to play the hero at an average level. In a recent guide posted up on GameLeap, Evil Toaster described Ana as a Pokemon too powerful for many Pokemon trainers. If you don't have enough badges, the Ana simply won't listen to your commands. Or if she does, you're just not going to be hitting the abilities properly. You're going to be missing sleep darts, you're going to be misusing the nano boost, etc. Whereas Zenyatta is a little bit more one-dimensional. This is of course all without mentioning Zenyatta's ultimate Transcendence, which is great when comboed with teammates, but if in doubt and just queuing solo and no one is really communicating, it's still a great defensive ultimate. Simple to use and requires less combo action and communication compared to something like Lucio's sound barrier. So, Roadhog and Zenyatta. Two great heroes for solo queue if you're looking to make a splash in your games without having to rely too much on your teammates. Now for the DPS heroes. Which DPS hero is the very best to solo carry in your competitive games? Well, Tracer, or Hanzo, or Genji, or just about any other DPS hero that you are particularly skilled at. Some are more powerful than others, of course. For example, you're not really going to be able to carry games as well on something like a Torbjorn or a Mei as opposed to something like a Hanzo or Widowmaker. Generally speaking, the best DPS heroes to carry games on are the kind that can secure kills without any help at all from their allies. And this is why Tracer and Hanzo make the top of this list. Hanzo's headshots can score kills pretty much out of nowhere, while Tracer is one of the most notorious DPS carry heroes. A skilled Tracer can easily dismantle enemy backlines, clean up supports, and most importantly, escape with her life. Of course, Tracer and Genji have the disadvantage of being harshly countered by Baguette, at which point switching to something even like a Junkrat is probably advised, but those are of course finer details that are going to vary from game to game. So while it might be a little bit of a cop-out, our top 3 heroes to solo carry look something like this. Roadhog, Zenyatta, Tracer, Hanzo, Genji. It's the best we can do. And hell, maybe you disagree, and maybe that's just fine. At the end of the day, if you suck at playing flankers like Tracer and Genji and just despise playing Hanzo, then by all means, carry on another DPS. What we are certainly not claiming is that you can just pick these heroes up, play them in solo queue, and gain SR. So as a disclaimer, if you disagree with this list, then just disregard it. It's not the law. Go ahead and comment down below with the hero that you like to queue with the most in solo queue. Do you find you're able to have enough of an impact on your games while queuing as that hero in solo queue? And would you recommend it to everybody else? So hey, thanks for watching guys. Do enjoy the rest of your day now. Hope you all enjoyed this here video, and I will catch you all down below in the comments.